My parents sat me down and they were like, this is all over now. Let's forget that it ever happened. And let's not talk about it ever again.
I was 29 and I was sexually harassed and stalked.
I was 23 when I was raped.
I was 18 when I was sexually harassed in the workplace.
I was 14. I was abused.
Actually, I was also 24 and 23 and 18.
I was 4 and I did not know what was happening.
I was 17 and I was raped.
I was 25 and a young lawyer, and I was sexually harassed by a client.
I was 25 and I was sexually assaulted.
I was sexually assaulted multiple times, and I was always told that it was my fault.
I was 7 years old when I was sexually abused. It was. Give me a moment. I was 7 years old when it happened, and it was in my own house.
There was a very strong anti-sexual harassment policy in my workplace. And they said, we do not care.
I was just like 4 or 5 years old. He would call me to come play with toys in his house. But I remember feeling very like something was wrong. After each occurrence, he would actually tell me not to tell this to anyone.
When I was getting harassed, my mom too is like, what did you do? Did you lead him on? You must have played with his feelings, right? What? I didn't ask to be intimidated or to live in fear.
The way media portrays the news, they're always focusing on like the age, where, time, what was he or she doing beforehand, afterwards. Or if it happens to me, then it's my fault because I kind of ticked off all those boxes. And it's always an ad like, if you're molested, call the police. It should be, you shouldn't molest, or someone's gonna call the police.
It's because of the way I was brought up, you know. They would usually blame you when something happened to you, but now it doesn't make sense to me now.
My cousin sister got assaulted by the same person, and I remember feeling very frustrated with myself because I felt like if I had voiced this out earlier, I could have prevented another assault. That's when I actually felt a need to talk about this.
It was a family friend who was staying with us, and he was about my dad's age. Eventually, my parents found out about it, and they took it to court. My mom was like, we're taking this to court. I'm really grateful that she did that. After the whole court case was over, my parents sat me down, and they were like, this is all over now. Let's forget that it ever happened. And let's not talk about it ever again. So I completely understand why they wanted me to forget it, but I don't think they realized how much of an emotional, psychological scar this has been in my life, like ever since.
And I was faced with all the guilt and the shame of what has happened to me. I remember being 14 years old, and I looked into my future, and all I saw was a blank of darkness, like there was no hope in my life. But there is light at the end of the tunnel, and you just need to hang on, and it does get better.
My brother knew, I think a year after my rape. He knew because I told him. And he didn't say anything. For someone who is, for someone who is only 16 years old, a boy, he didn't say anything. He just listened, and he just gave me a hug. And And everything else from there was just love and acceptance.
Sexual assault isn't a taboo, it's a collective wound of society. And to heal a wound, we need to start talking about it, we need to be aware of it.
The Me Too movement needs to keep going until women believe that when they are harassed, whether in the workplace or elsewhere, they are comfortable to go to somebody in power, somebody in authority, and feel like they will be listened to.
If all of us spoke about it, then it would have to stop. And people would have to say, this cannot continue.
To society, just listen. I think what we need in this world is more empathy towards each other.
Now, I'm grateful for agencies like Sexual Assault Care Center because you've given us a platform to not remain as victims, but as survivors and warriors.
I hope Sexual Assault Care Center will do more campaigning and do more events and gatherings for survivors to come together, because I feel that when we come together, it kind of creates a strength.
I am going to be okay because I've come so far.
I am stronger than I thought I was.
And I'm unbreakable.